Okay, new features. First one is this new search field. It works on the first name. So if we start typing John, or you can just do the first three letters, for example, it will narrow your search down. These lists are ordered by first name, so it can only be the first few letters of a first name. Okay, I'm also working on adding that same facility here next to contact in the build, which will come out in the next release. Okay, I'm going to now show you something that doesn't relate to this release, but should be useful. It's to do with bumping numbers up in a build. So I'm just going to get rid of the 6 first, and then I'll explain. Okay, so the way I do my numbering is I keep all the numbering sequential regardless of the area. But strictly speaking, the numbering that the system's designed to start the numbering again per area. So we would have the ground runs up to 6 in this case, and then you would have 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on for the first, and then you start the numbering again for the landscape and so on. But on a smaller job, I prefer to have unique numbers for each lighting group, and so this is how I make it work for me. So if we were to say, right, I want a new location 4 on the ground floor, we click up here on ground, light. Now you've got to make sure that the auto is checked. When it's checked, it bumps numbers up. When it's not checked, it just adds a new circuit location number. It just slots in. But in this case, we want it to bump up. So if we say, so new location 5 on the ground floor, and now on the ground the 6 has become the old 5 has become 6, 6 has become 7, and so on. Now if you look here, so the ground runs up to 7, and now we also have a 7 on the first floor, because it'll only bump up one area at a time. So what I do is I'll say, right, we need a new location 7 on the first floor, click create. It drops it in, and then what I do is uncheck the auto. Now if I delete this with the auto checked, this numbering will drop down, so the 8 will become 7, the 9 will become 8, and the 10 become 9. We don't want that to happen. We just want to remove that 7. So we uncheck it. You can either uncheck it here or here, it's the same thing, and remove. Now what I'm going to do now is pause this, and I'm going to renumber the first floor 1, 2, and 3, and then show you how it works with doing that. Actually, before I do that, so now we've added that 5 and we've got a blank line. We could either just type a code in, or what we can do is go to the products table, find a product. Location 5 is correct, it's on the ground floor, say one of those. Go back to the build and then delete the empty line. That's unchecked, so that's correct. And there we have it. Okay, so but definitely on a bigger job, you're going to want to start your numbering again per area. So let me show you what happens. So let's say on the ground floor we want a new location 6. We want it on auto because we want it to bump up. So ground, light, location 6. Okay, so now we've got a new 6, and the old 6 has become 7, so that's fine. And then we've got 8. It doesn't, as you can see here, the first floor remains the same. It only works within each area. So now if we wanted to bump the numbering up on the first floor, we just go ground, light. Let's say we want a new location 2. Everything bumps up. Now just to show you how things, oh sorry, I did that on the ground. Hold on. Let's do it again. First floor, light, new location 2. Okay, there we have it. So everything's smooth. Now, let's say we've made a mistake there and we want everything to drop down 1. All we do is we just remove it, and now it'll be 1, 2, 3 rather than 1, 2, 3, 4. So let's have a look. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and the ground floor has not been affected. Okay, I hope that's useful. Okay, a new small enhancement, but should be quite useful, is when you click list view now, it defaults to the last created product rather than the first one. If you want to go to the first one, just click the ID and it will change the sort order to ascending. So the new sort order is descending rather than ascending. Can sort by name, custom ID, or ID. And another new feature from the products layout is the view stock. And now what we have is it's categorized by supplier. So all products for each supplier are grouped together. You can see Igalucci there, Fabian, and so on. At the moment, it's I need to look at this, but it's jumping towards the bottom. The next release it'll show from the top. Okay, the new one in orders is picking slip combined. So if we click on this, we're now same items grouped together under each supplier. That's in alphabetical order as well. And I haven't tried this yet, but let's see about doing a part delivery because I've highlighted a few items here. And I'm not even sure if that's working. Okay, I'll get that checked. Okay, I've made a small change to box labels. Let me show you. Okay, now what we have is the address is smaller, and also if we haven't defined an area or a room number, they will not show at all, and the room will slide up into the middle. Okay, so that just looks a bit neater. Okay, the presentation hide labels or fields that are not being used is working, but it's not sliding up the way you may have wanted it to. It's really complicated to do that, and was proving to be really slow. I actually think this is quite intuitive. So all the fields are in the same place, but it just removes the one that doesn't have any data entered. And the reason I think it's intuitive is because, obviously, if everything's slid up, then it might be a bit confusing as to where items are. So, for example, the recess is always in the same place, length's always in the same place, and so on. So I hope this is acceptable. So we have this new feature. If we click on this icon at the top where it says print, it now takes a wee second, but it now changes everything, deselects everything, and then we could just select them individually, or we can go back and change them all to how they were. Also, the way this works is, see where it says repeated, this is actually show repeated as a button, but I dare say most of the time you would want to leave this the way it is. Basically what this does is where we have data, assembly and miscellaneous sheets, which are included in your site manual, if we've got the same product code 3643 repeated throughout the job, so we have another one down here, what it does is it suppresses those data sheets so that they're only printed once in a site manual. Otherwise, you can run into hundreds of pages. If you wanted all of them to show and to be printed, then you just click on show repeated. And then that's all of them. Not sure why it's not doing that one. I think that's because it was a newly added product. That's my latest product in the database. So I'll look at that anyway. But anyway, so we don't want that. So we hide repeated. Okay, so these two fields here, we've got product specific doc 1 and product specific doc 2. I'm working on this at the moment, so this isn't quite working properly at the moment, but basically the way this will work is you click in here, you add a site specific drawing. So let's just imagine this is a CAD drawing, drop it in, and then when you create your site manual, it will have a cover page saying that the following drawing is specific to location 1. So this is handy if you want to do drawings for LED pockets and that sort of thing. These drawing container fields up here, at the moment I've got 2 drawings in here, or 3. You can add as many drawings as you like. So let's just add another one. That'll do for now. And now when we run the site manual, there'll be 4 drawings. So I'll just pause it and then I'll do that now. So here we have it. You can try, but at the moment I don't think this is working on Windows. That it will do on the next release. So we've got the cover page. The cover page for your drawings. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 drawings. And then we've got the site schedule, and then we have the first item for the project, which is this downlight, and this shows that it's at location, well, yeah, location 1 on the ground and location 1 on the first. And then we have the data sheet and the assembly sheet. And now if we go down to the first floor, we can see after the cover page for the first floor, there's no data or assembly sheet, but you know where to find it because it's, you know, if we had this in 10 locations, this would be shown 10 times, these rectangular boxes, but we know it's with the first location. I think that's about it for now. Cheers.